This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, one and all, to this webinar series hosted by EduLoans. We have with us today Ms. Nupur Banerjee. She is an education loan expert representing Prodigy Finance, and she's going to be taking us through the benefits that Prodigy Finance has to offer to the students who are going abroad for higher studies. The topic for today is funding your masters at a top 100 school. We will be taking you through the presentation, post which we will have a question and answer session. You can feel free to post your questions in the chat box, which is to the top right. You can click on the chat option and it will open up a chat box where you can input your questions there. We will be recording this session and you can view this session on our website, on the EduLoans website, in the next 2 to 3 days. I now thank and welcome Ms. Nupur Banerjee, who's going to be taking forward this session, and she will tell you about the benefits of Prodigy Finance. So I now hand over the session to Nupur. You can take it forward, please.
Hi, thank you, Gurpreet, for this introduction. Hey guys, my name is Nupur Banerjee. I handle growth and partnerships at Prodigy Finance for the India market. Today we'll be speaking about how you can fund your masters at a top 100 school and how Prodigy Finance can help you out in that journey. So without further ado, let's get started. Can we have the next slide? So in the year 2007, 3 INSEAD alumni joined hands and formed a company that runs on the vision that funding should not be a barrier to education. And thus Prodigy Finance was formed. Over the years, we have supported more than 18,000 students reach their dream university. Till date, the total disbursement is around $896 million, and we support 600 plus schools globally. In these schools, we support programs like MBA, MSTEM, public policy, health sciences, and law. We are a truly global company with our offices in London, Cape Town, and New York. So all your operations happen from the Cape Town office. The funding is managed by the London office, and we have our BD hub at the New York. This good work has caught the eye of certain publications like Forbes, Wall Street Journal, The Independent, to name a few. Next slide.
This conference will now be recorded.
Can we have the next slide, please? So how do we do what we do? Right? How can we lend without a collateral and a cosigner? So here are the 5 ways how Prodigy Finance can. Number 1 is affordability. So our credit model is unique and is based upon your future affordability or your future postmaster's salary. That is what you'll be earning once you graduate from the school of study. And based on that, the credit model will be deciding what amount that you should be getting now. Number 2 is enforceability. Our loan agreement is enforceable in 150 countries, and hence we do not require a guarantor or a cosigner. Let me explain it into a little simpler terms. So what happens with traditional lenders or non-NBFCs, that the moment the student takes a loan and leaves the home country for study, the loan agreement is no longer binding to the person. And that is the reason they require a guarantor or a cosigner to co-sign your loan on your behalf, so that if there is a default in a loan at a future point, they can be held responsible. So this is not the case for Prodigy Finance, since the loan agreement is valid for the 150 countries that we support. Governance. We are a UK-based lender governed by the Financial Conduct Authority, FCA. So it is similar to how Indian banks or NBFCs is regulated by RBI. However, the little terms and the wordings that you see on our website can be a slight different from what you see from the traditional banks or traditional landscape. Cooperation. We directly disperse your amount, your entire fund, to the schools that we work with, because we closely work with the top 600 schools that we support. Thus, it is we take the entire responsibility to disburse the fund on the student's part. So the student does not have to worry about when will I receive my funds? What if the funds is not received in time? We do that for you. Last but not the least, 100% online process. So we are a 21st century tech-driven company which believe that time saved is time earned. For a Prodigy Finance loan, you are not required to have heavy documentation, run from pillar to post. All you need to have is a computer or a laptop and a good internet connection, and you're sorted. Next slide. So in this slide, I'll take you through the entire process of Prodigy Finance, starting with you have to first register on our platform and apply. So for registering, you just log on to www.prodigyfinance.com, create your application, create your account, and fill in the basic details to apply. It could be your credentials and the basic funding requirement. Once you do that, within 30 minutes or less, the screen refreshes and what you get is your provisional loan code or provisional loan letter. The provisional loan letter will mention things like your interest rate, your EMI, the monthly repayment terms, the total tenure, and the total amount that Prodigy can offer. If you are okay with the terms that is mentioned there and want to proceed further, you enter the verification stage. So in this verification stage, you are required to upload soft copy of certain documents. And once our team verifies those documents from backend, you will be provided your loan sanction letter. And that loan sanction letter is free of cost and can be used to receive your I-20 and visa purposes. Now that you have your visa sorted, you have the loan, what about your disbursement? So we disburse directly to the schools, and for that, you need to sign the loan agreement. You need to sign the loan agreement once you reach the country of your study. Lastly, about the grace period. So our grace period starts 6 months after your classes end. So the repayment starts 6 months after the classes end. That is, suppose if someone is taking a loan for 2 years, the repayment will only start after 2.5 years. However, you have the option to prepay back a certain amount if you wish to, and there is no prepayment penalties attached to it. Next slide. Now, while considering an education loan, this is the most important aspect that anyone looks out for. What is my interest rate? Like most education lender loan provider have a variable rate, so does Prodigy. Our rate is made up of fixed margin and a variable base rate. So for fixed margin, the range is somewhere from 5 to 8.5%, depending upon the profile of the applicant. Now the variable base rate, we take LIBOR, which is London Interbank Offer Rate, which is similar to what Indian banks use as MCLR. Now in this representative example, suppose this person has got a 7% fixed margin rate, depending upon his or her profile, and the current LIBOR of this quarter is 1.87. So the total interest rate that the person has got is 8.87, that is 7 plus the LIBOR, which is 1.87. And this is unique per application and different for each applicant. Next slide. Now, what are the Prodigy Finance advantages, or what makes Prodigy Finance different from other lenders? Number one is no collateral or cosigner. That is, there is no financial or emotional burden to your parents or your immediate family member. It is entirely on an applicant's profile or a merit that we invest on. The interest rate is customized, which means the interest rate is unique per application. It could be different for different people. Now, a small example here. Suppose you and your friend are going to the same course and the same school. It does not mean that you both end up getting the same person. You might have different percentage based upon your profile, depending upon the details that you fill in your application. The loan letter is free of cost, and we disburse the money in the currency of your study. So we disburse the money in USD, Euro, and GBP. That means there is no financial forex conversion charges. No prepayment penalties. I have already spoken in the previous slide that if someone wants to pay back a certain component back to Prodigy, suppose during your course of study you receive some TA, RA, scholarship, and you want to pay back a certain sum, you can go ahead and do that, and we will not be penalizing you for that. Lastly, there are no hidden charges attached to Prodigy. We have only one fee, which is one time, and it's the admin fee, which is 4% of the total loan amount sanctioned. Next slide. Now here's a quick comparison from Prodigy Finance versus the other lenders. I'll not spend too much time in here. I'll just quickly run through what's mentioned and what does it make Prodigy Finance difference. Loan amount. So we have a larger loan amount. So in schools like in US schools for MS-STEM program, we support up to 100% of cost of attendance, which covers the tuition plus living expenses. At Prodigy, we do not require a collateral or a cosigner. The interest rate, as I've spoken, is unique per applicant and is uniquely designed and is customized. There are no hidden charges. There's only one fee, that is the admin fee. Now, usually there could be hidden charges with other institutions like a sanction fee letter or an insurance fee or a currency conversion charges. Since there is no FX conversion charges because we disburse in the currency of study, there are no hidden costs attached. APR. Now, this is a very important term. APR, or the annual percentage rate, is not your interest rate that you see in a provisional loan offer from Prodigy. It is just a tool for comparison of different loans. Now, your APR or annual percentage rate will have the impact of your interest rate plus all the other hidden charges. So I would highly suggest, while comparing different loans, you don't compare it with interest rate, you compare it using an APR. Since we believe being transparent in our operation, we disclose our APR clearly. Repayment period. Our repayment period ranges somewhere from 5 years till 20 years, 20 being the maximum. There's no prepayment penalties attached to it. And with Prodigy, there is zero or minimum documentations attached. So for the initial step of provisional offer, there is no documentations attached. Documentation will only come into picture when you proceed forward into the verification stage. And even in that stage, there are only few documents that we ask from you. The average approval time or the total process taken by Prodigy Finance is about 5 days till a maximum of 10 days, 10 business days. And lastly, we believe in doing community services, and hence we provide campus events, informative sessions about how to get a job, internships, etc. So this would be my last slide, but before ending, I would like to share stories from 8 of our borrowers who had admit from the best of the school and how Prodigy Finance helped them with financing part to reach their dream university. Can we have the next slide? Next.
ने प्रोडिजी वाला ना ऐसे
तो
नहीं
બધું ઓનલાઈન જ છે
नहीं नहीं आपने कोई नहीं आते बात कर भी तो
એ તો પહેલા તો જવું જેનું તો જવું સેમ આ જ છે પ્રેઝન્ટેશન પહેલા દિવસનું જે 15 મિનિટમાં બોલી ને બંધ કરી દો કે એમાં બધી ક્વેશ્ચન આન્સર ચાલશે બીજા 15-20 મિનિટ
बन के
ના ફરીથી જોઈ શકે પેલા ફોટો
वाला ने अचारा लॉकडाउन बंद है ना એટલે ઓલાને
જેની
બોલાય
મેમને મળી જો
हाँ नहीं नहीं જેને મેમને કહેશે ને કે અમે સપોઝ થોડું 10-15 લાખનું શોર્ટ પડ્યું શું છે કઈ રીતે પ્રોડિજી નથી કરી શકે તેના માટે અત્યારે કરવું પડશે
આ કેમ્પસ
It seems that the audio was not audible to all. The video was not audible. So Nupur, should I be replaying the video?
Yes, you can do that.
Yeah, I'll just unmute my system and maybe then the video will have the voice.
Yes, sure.
My name is Nilesh Samanta. I'm studying MS in Management of Technology at New York University. My name is Omoefe Onotego. I'm studying Information Systems at Carnegie Mellon University. I'm Akash, studying here at the Duke Masters of Engineering Management program at the Pratt School. My name is Roberto, studying at the School of Computer Science at CMU. I'm Abhishek Singh, studying Engineering Management at Duke University. My name is Sampath. I'm studying electronics here in CMU. I'm Jaideep Soni. I'm studying my Masters in Operations Research at Columbia. Education abroad gives you more opportunities, not just to learn about what you're going to study, but also an experience that you will not learn back at home. The environment, you get to be surrounded by lots of smart people. Being here has actually made me step up my game. Every day, every moment you interact with somebody, you get to learn something. I was looking for a program that would give me more diverse perspective into a lot of different fields. So when I opened that letter and I saw that it was accepted, it was amazing. Getting accepted is like just half of the road. Now we need money to come over here. I tried to apply for a loan, and that was not going to happen at all because I needed someone to be a guarantor. The major banking firms in India, some of them were providing really steep interest rates. They just ask for like a mountain of paperwork if you go to banks in India. They will just take 3 meetings to explain you that these are the 15 documents that we need from you. But then one day, one of my friends told me about Prodigy and it changed my life. The application process in Prodigy was very easy. Everything is online, everything is automated. It's just convenient and easy for you to get that loan. 20 minutes to fill out the entire initial application. The turnaround time was ridiculously fast. The process took like 3 weeks or something like that. I didn't know that it can be so fast. They would assess me on the basis of my marks, previous education, work history, and give me an attractive rate without putting up any collateral. Where I come from, if someone loans you something, they want collateral. But G didn't require that from me. It's me and my skill set they're investing in and not my financial background. There's no much paperwork. You don't need a cosigner. Interacting with the staff is just like a pleasure over email, over phone, in person. There's a lot of transparency in the process. There is someone you can reach out to and somebody would personally get back to you. Prodigy played a very crucial role as it eliminated a lot of doubt from my head. And this just makes it that much easier to really just focus on getting a good education. The very fact that they believe in me rather than a collateral is giving me a confidence that I can do something more because someone else is believing in me already. If it wasn't for Prodigy Finance, I don't think I'd be able to study. There's nothing better than Prodigy in fancy. Being there, helping us throughout. Thank you, Prodigy.
Hi
Nupur, you
guys.
can go ahead.
So yes, we start taking Q&A now. I see there are a couple of questions in the chat section. So happy to answer all those. Um, so someone has asked that, can you explain the interest rate? Is it fixed and the LIBOR part? Absolutely, happy to help you out with that. So like most lenders, most education loan providers have a variable interest rate. So does Prodigy, right? So our interest rate is made up of a fixed component and a variable component. So for the fixed component, the range is somewhere from 5 to 8.5%. Now, what a person gets depends upon his or her profile. And for the variable part, we use LIBOR, which is London Interbank Offer Rate. And this LIBOR is similar to what Indian banks use, like MCLR. Now, what is the rate that a person will get? I would suggest the best way to know your rate is just going online, completing a 30-minute application and checking for yourself. Because since it is not a human who's deciding the amount or a percentage, it's the credit model, it is highly suggested that you go online, complete the details, fill out your basic loan requirement, budget requirement, and then you can check what are the interests that you get. I hope that helps. Then there's a question that as Prodigy works for 600 institutes, so do they provide for top 600 or only for top 100 schools? That's a great question. So globally, we support 600 schools and we support the top 200 schools as per the US News and the World Report ranking and the top 200 schools as per the FT Times global ranking, right? And the rest are for public policy and law and health sciences. So all the details and all the list of the school is clearly mentioned on our website. If you wish to see what are the schools that Prodigy supports, does it support your school or not, please go online, check it on our website, and you should be able to find it. Then we've got another question here that when does the EMI starts? Right away or after the course done? So your EMI or the repayment will start only after your classes end plus 6 months of grace period. So during your entire course of study, you are not required to pay a single component back to Prodigy Finance, right? Neither your principal or the interest, nothing. However, if it is under your capacity, suppose you get a scholarship and you want to close off your loan before, you can absolutely do that. It is acceptable by Prodigy and there is no penalties attached to it.
Guys, please feel free to post your questions in the chat box so that Nupur can answer those questions for you. We are just waiting for a few more questions to come up, please.
So we've got another interesting question that is there any chance of loan rejection, even if it is the top schools as mentioned in the website? So that's a great question. Thank you for asking. So as long as your school is supported by Prodigy Finance, you can get a loan from us. And regarding the chance of rejection, as long as your documents are perfect, you've uploaded the correct documents online and we have correctly verified it, found it correct during our verification, there is no chance of loan rejection. So I would highly suggest and it's recommended that you be complete transparent while filling in your application and while submitting the documents, and there is no rejection question there. So we've got another question. Suppose one can get the admission in the college mentioned. It's for all masters of the STEM policy only. So cool. So we support programs like STEM, MBA, public policy, health sciences, and law. And we support the top schools in US, Canada, rest of the Europe, etc. So as long as you're applying to the schools or the program supported, you can get a loan from us. So that shouldn't be an issue. So Master in Arts is not supported at this moment. However, we keep increasing, keep adding new schools and new programs to our courses each year. So I would suggest that you please be in touch and contact us in some time. Now, we've got a very interesting question. If part payment is done in the initial part of the course, so will the interest rate get reduced or still remain the same? So definitely the interest rate will get reduced and it will be charged only on the balance outstanding, right? Not the entire amount since you've made a part payment earlier. So thank you for asking that question. It's a great one.
There is one question that has come from Manjusha Kelkar. She wants to ask, do you support for MD, that is medicine?
So we support a couple of programs in health sciences and in few schools. So I would suggest, Manjusha, you just go online and type in your program or school. And if it comes down as a drop down, then we'll be able to support that. Or if you cannot find your course, you can write to us at info@prodigyfinance.com. Our team will review the course and if possible, add it back. I hope that helps. So someone has asked, will there be a fixed EMI that has to be paid after completion of the course, or there is a flexibility of more or less as tenure is up to 20 years? So definitely your EMI is mentioned, would be mentioned in your provisional loan offer, and we expect from you the same EMI so as to not put a burden on the student. However, if you want to make an extra amount of payment, you can absolutely do that. For lesser amount that is said in an EMI or mentioned in the EMI in the as an EMI in the provisional loan offer, if you want to make less amount than that, you have to reach out to our service team and we'll help you out with the further steps if that is possible or not, because sometimes reducing the amount is not possible, not that flexible. However, you can definitely make a higher amount of payment and close off earlier.
There is a question that has come on the current scenario, the current situation that's going on worldwide, that is the COVID-19. So if somebody has taken a sanction from Prodigy Finance and is not able to travel, are there any repercussions to the same?
Great. Thank you for asking that question. Completely understand the current scenario. It's a bit tough now. And definitely at Prodigy, we understand the value of, we will give value to our customers and students. We understand there can be unforeseeable situations. So suppose even after sanction, a student is not able to travel, they can go forward and cancel the loan. There is no charges or no penalties attached to it. We will definitely be able to cancel the loan. So not to worry on that matter. It's not binding to you unless and until you sign the loan agreement, which will happen only once you reach the country of your study. So someone has asked that if master course costs more than 50K USD, will Prodigy fund all the costs involved? So for MS-STEM program in the US, we support up to 100% of cost of attendance, which will cover your tuition plus living expenses. If you're applying for MBA programs in the US, we support up to 80% of cost of attendance. And for programs outside the US, be it Canada or Europe, we support 100% cost of tuition. So what all things will be included in the loan amount that Prodigy will be funding? As I mentioned, now that for STEM program and MBA program in the US, we cover the living expenses as well.
There is a question come up. Does Prodigy Finance help for travel purpose, as in do they fund for the travel from India to abroad?
Well, at this moment, we can only support post reaching the country and studying, that is once you get admitted, but not at this moment. We don't support, we won't be able to assist you with the travel thing.
We would be taking just a last few questions, approximately 3 of them. And if anyone happens to have any further questions, y'all can always reach out to the loan counselors at EduLoans. The numbers for the counselors are on the screen. We are also recording this session, so you can view this session later on. And you can feel free to ask about Prodigy and the other loan options available at EduLoans on the given numbers on your screen. So I see one question coming up from Ritika. Would you want to read and answer that, Nupur?
Yes, sure. Can you just tell me the question?
Sure. The question is, can we directly connect to the Prodigy representative on call if students come up with any queries?
Thanks, Ritika. Yes, absolutely, you can do that. We have a 24-hour All India toll-free number that is present on our website should you wish to speak to any representative from Prodigy Finance. So you can do that. Also, there is a live chat option available that would be available once you create an account with Prodigy, and once you log in to your account, the live chat facility is available. Or for general queries, you can write to us at info@prodigyfinance.com.
Ritika, you could always call the loan counselors at EduLoans, and if you are interested in Prodigy Finance, the loan counselors at EduLoans will send out an email to you. In that email, you would find the toll-free number for Prodigy Finance as well. The next question is from Yogesh. What if my visa gets rejected?
Sure, happy to answer that, Yogesh. So this is if suppose, God forbid, if someone's visa gets rejected, then definitely speak to us. It is not that once you've taken a loan from us and it will be binding to you and you cannot cancel. But as I said, that we're very flexible, have a flexi approach towards our working, and we help in supporting the students. Please reach out to us and we'll be able to cancel your loan if your visa gets rejected and you're not able to fly out.
So we'll just take one last question. If anyone has any more queries or doubts, they can reach out to us on the numbers on your screen. We'll just wait for one more minute to see if there are any questions coming up, Nupur, and then we'll call it a session.
Sure, sure.
So it seems you have answered most of the questions during the presentation itself, as well as the question and answer session has provided answers to all the students. So thank you one and all for being a part of this wonderful session that was conducted by Ms. Nupur Banerjee from Prodigy Finance. We would like to also inform you that we are conducting these webinar series every week, and we will be sending out the necessary communications via email to all our students. The ones who are interested in taking part in these sessions could always register themselves on the EduLoans website. And now I hand over to Nupur for her last words for this session before we can end it today.
Sure. First of all, thank you everyone for joining this session. I hope that it was an informative session for you all, and I was able to answer most of your queries. And thank you, Gurpreet, for organizing this webinar. It means a lot, and it's super helpful for the students as well. So for any queries that you have, please feel free to reach out to EduLoans team. They'll be able to help you out, guide you with the loan assistance. And if you want to speak to Prodigy directly or drop in a mail, then all the information that I've already provided to you. And thank you from my side. Have a good evening.
You all take very good care of yourself. Be safe. Follow all the precautions that are required, and I hope that the COVID-19 ends soon and we see a better tomorrow. So thank you all for being a part of the session today, and hope to see you in the forthcoming sessions. Bye for now.
Bye-bye, guys.